for our audience at home who might not be aware of what LABELCOIN's up to, can you give them a little synopsis?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, our mission is to end artist poverty. And so we did that by creating a stock exchange for songs. So think about Robinhood, basically, for songs, where fans can invest in a new asset class, songs, music.
I'm curious what some of the initial conversations were like with artists. Obviously, you need to make them feel comfortable that they're going to be taken care of on that end. Tell me a little bit about how that went on early in the process.
Totally. I mean, from the beginning, we said that for this to work, it has to make sense for everybody involved. That's the fan, that's the artist, and that's the music industry as a whole. How do we look at each of their perspectives and come up with a win-win-win, right? So starting at that base plate. Now, I've been in the music industry almost 20 years now, and my first 10 years was as an artist. And I started out, I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew this was what I was supposed to do. You know, I was making probably $2,000 a month, like working my tail off and hoping to break even every time I went out on the road, you know, and then built it up with my wife and I started an indie pop duo together. And by the end of that, we were, you know, finally making $120,000 a year before all the expenses. So really, like after 40K of that, you're down to 80. Split between my wife and I, we're making $40,000 a year, right? And that's 10 years into our career, you know. And at that point, we're technically in the top 1% of the music industry, which is crazy. Wow. And so being able to share that, like I understand what it's like because my friends are artists. And then we started an artist agency after that, working with a lot of people off of shows like American Idol and The Voice, people with hundreds of thousands of followers or even millions. And realizing that we were out earning almost all of them with our little 3,000 follower account, you know, but just learning how to make it a business. Yeah. And so just being able to go back to those people and say, well, we know where you're coming from. What would happen if instead of making, because even if you got like 1 million spins on Spotify, it's going to get you maybe $4,000.
Wow.
Right? So, but what would happen if you bring 10 years of that income now, maybe still half of that for $20,000 and do that for 5 songs a year? All of a sudden you've got $100,000 base income, you know, and we actually share the transaction fees continually. So it's not just a one-time catalog sale, like you sell it and it's done, like what just happened with Bieber.
Sure.
You know, he got 200 million, but he's not going to see more money from that, you know. But what we're doing is every time those song shares are resold, they actually continue to make money. And so it's for an artist, once they understand what's happening, it's kind of like, yeah, this makes total sense. Sure. And I'm really excited to quit my second job.
Can you tell me a little bit about, are you seeing that kind of dynamic between like the fans and people that are really into music kind of shifting a little bit, where they're getting a little bit more of an understanding about what the struggle is for artists? I think a lot of people maybe in the past have seen huge play numbers and huge follower accounts and all that and just instantly thought they're making a lot of money here. I feel like that dynamic's starting to like shift a little bit.
100%. And we hope that that's part of the byproduct of what we're creating, you know, because people do think they see you on a show like American Idol and they think, oh, you're a millionaire now, you know, you must be crushing it. They see you with 1 million streams, they're like, oh man, you're making bank. So we actually put within the app, here's how many streams you would have to get in order to get this percentage return. So it is like a slider. So it's like, yeah, I think this song can get 500,000 streams and that gives me a 12% return, you know, on average. Yeah. Great. So it brings more understanding to that. And we think that that'll help also fans just be more supportive in that sense. Yeah, just flipping the whole model really too from like, I don't know, have you done a Kickstarter before?
I personally have not, but I have
invested in one?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Like, and it's generally not that great of an experience for everybody involved. I did it twice as an artist. I spent an entire summer making handmade ceramic mugs. Yeah. So, you know, and I think my time put in averaged like $3.17, an hour. But it's like, you have to, and it's humbling, right? You have to keep begging people, like, please support my music so I can make a new album. Because like that album that we made, the last one, cost us about $25,000. You know, it's not unusual to have, for a decent producer, $2,000 to $3,000 a song. I
mean, it's just really fascinating to kind of dive into the details of what you guys are doing over at LABELCOIN. I'm curious where you see this going in the next 5 years or so, and you know how you guys could look to evolve your relationship with artists and support those artists, and what resources that maybe you might not have now, but hopefully get as the company grows and evolves to support artists.
Yeah, man, there's so much on the roadmap and down there where we see it going, you know, and it's not just for the indie artists. Like really, we built it from everyone from that newer person to the people filling stadiums. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of tools that we're built into that with tour support, with concert tickets, with, you know, selling out seats, with aggregated NFT marketplaces into the future, you know, being able to create NFTs based upon node ownership. We call the song shares notes. And so a lot of different implementations like that. But for a label, you know, they act like a VC firm. Sure. And they invest heavily into 20 artists. They hope that one of them hits it big, and they know they're going to lose money on 19. And so what we do is we allow them to earn money a lot sooner on an artist's career than they normally would, and have more of their artists be profitable by being able to sell those royalties there as well. But for the artist coming in, all of a sudden they have leverage. So they don't have to, now the label deal isn't their only way forward. And so we hope it creates more fair deals that are more equitable for everybody. So it's like, hey, I have options now for people that are bad actors, because they are in the industry, there are bad actors, but there's a ton of amazing people at the high levels too that are really in it for the right reasons. So, but we hope that it helps create a more fair ecosystem.